Welcome to the second video of our chemical reactions tutorial playlist. In this video, we're going to be talking about the difference between the parts of the chemical reactions equation, which basically is the reactants and the products, and the different little numbers and symbols and what they mean. So in a chemical reaction, you have an arrow, right? And that arrow basically separates the part where the reaction starts from the part where it's heading towards. And generally speaking, you're going to go towards the right. That's the way people usually write it. Now, that's not always necessarily true, but that's what you're going to see most of the time. Now, the things which are before the arrow are called the reactants because they're the ones which are reacting to form other things. And the things after the arrow are called the products, or the things that come out of the reaction. And that kind of makes sense. Now, the arrow itself, therefore, means yields or makes or becomes. So the reactants yield into the products or become the products and so forth. It doesn't really mean an equal sign or anything like that. Now, what does it mean if you, for some reason, see an arrow going both ways? That means the reaction is balanced and going both ways in a sense that it's in equilibrium. It's currently not really going towards this one way or the other. It's going both ways at the same time, and it's what is called an equilibrium. You're not going to see much of that in seventh grade science, though. And what does a subscript means? The subscript is this tiny little numbers that you will see sometimes next to the element symbols, right? Each of the letters stands for an element. So, for example, this O means oxygen, but the fact that there's a little 2 next to it, that means the number of atoms of oxygen shows up in that molecule. So in this carbon dioxide, the 2 means there's 2 oxygens. Same thing for oxygen gas. But this 4 here next to the hydrogen means there's 4 hydrogens in this little methane molecule here. And in a water molecule, there's 2 hydrogens. If there isn't a number, then it just means 1. Then you also have the numbers ahead of the chemicals. Those are called coefficients. So right here, for example, you have a 2, and right here you have a 2. Those numbers, coefficients, mean the number of molecules which are involved in the reaction. So that means basically that in this reaction, there's 1 molecule of methane, which includes 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens atoms each. And then 2 molecules of oxygen gas, which is 2 oxygens each, reacting to produce 1 molecule of carbon dioxide, which is 1 carbon and 2 oxygens each, and 2 molecules of water, which is 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen each. Now, this is actually a combustion reaction because you have something with a carbon in it reacting with something with an oxygen, forming carbon dioxide and water. So it's a classic combustion reaction. Now, here's another example before we move on to the next page. So in this case, the reactants would be nitrogen gas and hydrogen gas. And the product, you're making some ammonia gas here. But notice that each nitrogen gas must have 2 nitrogen atoms, and each of the hydrogen gases have 2 hydrogen atoms. But it takes 3 hydrogen molecules with 2 nitrogen molecules to make 2 ammonia molecules, which have 2 nitrogens and 3 hydrogens each. All right, so that's pretty much it as far as the quiz objective goes. On the next video, we're going to talk about the law of conservation of mass and one that has to do with chemical reactions. See you guys then.